Hi there, welcome to Scale Modelling Chaos channel. This is the second build in our Meng Toon King Tiger tank build. This video we're going to be looking at the painting side of things. So prior to the start of this video, what I actually did was I took the three main components of the tank that we'd already built in the first video, along with the wheels, and gave those a coat of primer. This will help to help the paint adhere to the model, but also would help with things like pre-shading, which we're going to look at. So I've given this a coat as a black primer, and then what we're going to do is going to add some white on top of that as a pre-shade, just to sort of try and help bring out some details and give a better texture to the model when it comes to the painting side of things. So let's move on to that. So as you can see, I've taken the main parts of the kit that we'd already built, and I've used Tamiya acrylic paints, and I've taken a white, and I've just sort of painted some of the main areas that I want to sort of bring up with a bit more texture. The white has gone on a little bit thicker than I hoped, um, but we'll work with that, and we'll sort of cover that over with the grey, and hopefully when it goes over, we'll still get some nice shading on there without it sort of bringing too much. So we're going to give this a spray with again Tamiya German grey colour, and as I say, I'm going to sort of spray over, but I'm not going to completely sort of cover up all of the white and black that we had there before. We're doing that just so we can sort of, bring through some of that sort of detail that's on there. We'll also be bringing some of the detail through with things like dry brushing and the weathering, which we'll be looking at in the next video. So I started to sort of spray the top hole, and I say, giving that a coat of the Tamiya grey. Now I am using an airbrush to spray this. Ideally, you want to be using a spray booth when using an airbrush. Mine's currently out of action, so what I've done is I've made sure that I'm in a well ventilated area using a respirator, and say lots of ventilation to make sure that I'm protected from the fumes there, because the last thing you want to be doing is breathing some of these fumes and having any problems. So I've then taken the turret, and again giving that a quick spray over with the German grey, just being careful not to completely cover it, all of the white and the black that we put on there from the primer and the white pre-shading, but enough to sort of cover it over, but to give it a coat of paint, but still sort of have that some of that showing through. And so I'm just going to turn it over, do the bottom parts. Now you may not everyone will do the bottom part of that. I do sort of paint it. It's not going to be an area he's going to be seen, but I still do sort of cover that over, um, just for my sort of peace of mind to write it. Really, that's up to the individual, whether you do that or not. So now that I've finished the turret, I'm just going to put that to one side, let that dry. I'm just going to bring in the bottom hole. So again, as you can see, at the bottom hole, I have done the white around things like the exhaust or mufflers, as they're called, depending on which part of the world you are in. We've also got on there the jack and some towing irons, and the mud flaps at the back. So we're going to sort of give that again a spray of German grey all over. Now, as you can see, the wheels haven't been attached to the model yet. I'm not actually going to be attaching those at this moment in time. What I want to do is I want to sort of do some weathering on the bottom hole, just where the wheels are in that part there. I want to get some dirt and some mud effects up in there. So I want to do that before I fit the wheels. So once the paint's gone on there, then I'll be looking to sort of get that sorted out. So the last piece on the painting video for today is the attachments that go on the side. Now the instructions tell you to fit the parts and then do the painting. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to sort of keep the pieces, the attachments, off from the kit in the main build, paint those separately on the sprue, and then attach them after the main painting side of things have been done. Just because I think, you know, they are very small pieces, and I just wanted to sort of make sure that they had the detail on there that they deserve. So I've kept those separate from the sprue, from the main kit. Kept on the sprue and just given them a brush coat. There's some small attachment areas on some of these parts where they would, in reality, be sort of connecting points to the actual tank. So we're going to paint those with German grey, like we have done the rest of the main tank. And then I've used silver for the shovel head, and then I use a combination of browns to give a wood look effect on the handle. That'll be the same on the sledgehammer that we've got, but for the sledgehammer head I'm actually using a dark iron colour. It gives a really nice sort of metallic look to it, and it's a sort of, it gives it the sort of right colour for that. There's also a spike that goes on the side. Again, I've done that in a dark iron colour with the attachment to the tank in the German grey, and we've got a few towing ropes that fit onto the sides. So what I did with those was I did a coat of grey and then went over with a coat of black and gunmetal to give it a darker look, but trying to sort of get a steel effect, as I didn't have a steel paint colour available. It didn't come out as well as I'd hoped, but that's one of those things. It's the great thing about modelling is that I didn't have the right paint. I tried something to see if it would work. It didn't work. I know that for next time. You know, hopefully, I'll remember to add a steel paint to my paint collection to ensure that I've got that going forward. But it's, you know, you try something, it may not work, and that's the great thing. You know, if you try it and it works, fantastic. You can use that in future modeling builds. If it doesn't work, then you've tried it. You know, it doesn't work. Move on. And you try something different the next time, and that might work. So we're with this, as I say, we're just going to paint these up separately, and then in the third video, what we'll be doing is we'll be looking at the weathering side of things. So we'll be looking at things like pin washes. We'll be looking at using environments, things like mud, to add to the vehicle, and also things like weathering pencils as well, which could work really well. Now, before we do any weathering, once I finish painting these little attachments up, I'll be giving the model a quick spray with a varnish, then adding the decals to the model, give it another spray over with varnish, attach the wheels, or do a bit of weathering into the bottom hole, just to give them some mud effect on there, then add the wheels, and then be looking at doing the main weathering on the rest of the kit. And that will be coming up in the third video to this series. So thank you very much for watching. If you've liked the video, please tick the like button and subscribe, and look out for future videos moving forward. Thank you very much.